It's Lori and I am here in Photoshop today. I had worked on using my light tracing pad to capture these grasses. So you can see I have got, this is actually the lightest layer. I'm going to move it to the top. And then we've got kind of that middle of the road standard. And then the bottom image is the darkest. I'm going to quickly blend these together. And then I want to work with you to try to add some fun elements using brushes. Let's see how it turns out. I have not edited these images at all, so you're going to come along with me for all the fun and the bloopers. So let's get started. All right, first I am going to select all three layers and I'm going to go up to Edit, Auto Align. So I want to do this just to make sure they're all lined up. Now I know the obvious, the image is upside down. We're going to flip it around. Just give me a second. I don't want to mess with all that until I combine these three images. So now what we've done is we auto aligned. They're all lined up. So as I look at the images, I really like this second image is less blue than this image, but the leaves aren't quite as dark, but I think I can fix that with editing. So I'm going to turn off the bottom layer, but the top layer, I love the wispiness. So what we're going to do is bring this layer down to about 50%. And not that layer. So I think it got all messed up. Let's go up to that layer. It's at 50%. And so I'm going to turn it up a little bit more. I'm going to try a different blend mode. And I want to try that Vivid's kind of fun. Screen is going to be really interesting. So, and there's Lighten. Let's try Lighten. And I'm going to take it down maybe about right there. Now what I'm going to do is add a layer mask. So this is where when you're using with the light pad, you want to use a layer mask to bring back what you want. And I want these grasses to still be pretty visible and pretty dark. So I am just going to blend them back in, which is also going to bring out some more details in my grass, but also keep that lighter. Now I know our whites are all out of balance. That's okay. We're going to fix that. Don't worry. Now let's take this down. Let's take it up and see. I think probably right around that 50% mark. That may work. Now I'm also going to flip it back to white and I'm going to come in with a smaller brush and I'm going to make some of these. Got our brush, got our opacity. Let's flip it to white. And yeah, I'm going to bring back just some of these areas, making sure that they're really soft and dreamy. I love the grass brush strokes against this kind of lighter area. And then I'm going to flip it, just kind of play with it, make the brush smaller. About it back on black, so I'm going to bring out some of those darker stem areas. Okay, so that's just a quick blend. I'm going to go back over here. All right, I like that. I just wanted it really wispy. So now what I'm going to do is stamped layer, Command Option Shift and the letter E. And yes, this was probably a lazy way of doing it, but now what I'm going to do is image rotation, and let's do a clockwise. And then actually we could have just flipped it and we'll do it one more time. All right, so now we've got our image. Now I know we've got these blue spots. Don't worry, we are going to fix the white background. I just wanted to get all these wispies the way that I wanted them. So next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and crop this image. Let's bring this in, make it look a lot better so that we can start adding all the fun elements. All right, there we go. Now, the first thing I want to do now that we've done this, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate that layer, is I'm going to go ahead and go to Filter, and I want to go to Camera Raw. So we're going to go to Camera Raw to fix this blue areas that came up. I may even convert this image to black and white. I haven't quite decided. So let's go to Light, and actually on Camera Raw, I want to go to Color, and we are going to make the temperature, bring it over to yellow, and keep our greens. So that's going to help a little bit. I don't want it that far, so just a little bit there. And then we're going to go to our color mixer, and we are just going to reduce the blues, reduce the aquas, and there we go. It's gone. So I didn't have any blue in this image, so it was really easy to do that. And then our greens, I want to really saturate those, but I also want to make them darker. So let's go to luminance and see what happens. Yeah, I want those greens to pop. So with just a few fun techniques, you can really change the look and feel of your image. And I do want to enhance the yellows because these grasses were really, really yellow. Let's go to saturation and give those yellows a pop. All right, I'm feeling really good about this. So let's go ahead and say okay and go back to Photoshop. What a difference from this crazy looking image to here. So I think really, really beautiful. Now, to add some final creative elements, I could be so happy with this image the way it is, and I really like the green and white look. We could also give this more of an autumn feel, but this video is all about using some brushes. So let's come over, and I had an idea in my head. It may not work, but let's go. I have all kinds of brushes that are the Kyles from Adobe. And I thought I'd look at some of the fall brushes to see if there was something that might work to add some fun to these leaves. I know there are some that have like a leaf brush. You can see like this ratchet might be fun to use, but I think actually this, let's go to this Vincent. Yeah, I think I want to try this one. So let's get our color dropper, and I want to pick this kind of, yeah, this green yellow color, and maybe even get it a little, maybe a little brighter. All right, so we've got our color selected. I'm going to duplicate the layer, so we start with a blank layer in case we need to delete it. Now we're going to go to brush. We've got the Vincent selected. Now I'm going to put the opacity at about 50%, and I'm going to leave the blend mode the same. I'm going to make this brush really small, and I usually use larger brushes. And I'm going to come in. Let's see if we pop that. All right, so if you guys can see, it is making these tiny, tiny dashes. Now I'm going to undo those. And I think as I'm doing this, I've changed my mind, and I want to do a darker green color. So the beautiful thing about painting is you get to kind of see what you're doing, and then you can modify it. So I'm going to actually increase the opacity. And yeah, I am just going to enhance. Now remember, with your opacity, I like to keep it up so that I can see what I'm doing. And then you can always go back and you can reduce it on your layer. So I think that's a fun way. All right, this is super fun. I love painting with these brushes. Now you could decide if you wanted to add some in your main area of your image. That is totally optional. That would be kind of making it really busy, really overlapping. So I'm going to do that just so you can see it. Let's lower the opacity and see what it looks like. It's definitely interesting. I think I'm going to back step though. And let's go back. I'm not sure that that's the look that I'm wanting. What I was envisioning was just kind of enhancing. You can see I've got the brush pretty small, and I'm just going over in some select places, giving it just a little extra. I don't want to necessarily go into the whites. Now, I think we need another color. If you've watched any of my brush editing videos, I highly recommend that you layer your colors. So let's go up. Again, I want to grab that kind of tan color, but I'm going to actually click on it and I want to give it a little brightness, a little bit more of that kind of chartreuse green. All right, so now we're going to go back to our brush and I am going to pop in. Oh, I like that. Do you see what it's doing over here? Just giving it some brightness. And again, you don't have to do it everywhere. And if you do it somewhere you don't like, we can go back and correct it later. So I am just popping around, kind of going over where I was before and where I really want to just add some extra whimsy to this image. Now I may be looking a little crowded up right now, but I'll show you the finished product. Now I am not going to maybe do all of this right now, but I want to give you a general idea of how it's going to turn out. All right, so that was our second color. Now I do notice that I need some more in this area. So I am just going to come in, pop some more in. You have to kind of take your time, stand back, look at it, and we didn't really do any in this area. Now I think we need a third color, and I want a little orange because these were drying. So I'm just going to go to the color dropper. I'm going to go down to orange, and I want to add as if it was, kind of an older, dark, not quite brown. Let's try that and see. Let's just pop some in. Yeah, I think that's going to give it just a little bit. Now you could also lower the opacity when you change colors. So don't forget that when you're going through it. And I just like to randomly, I am just clicking where I was before, just kind of going around to add this extra touch of fun and whimsy. So it's not something that this image had to have, but I like doing it, and I think it's a fun technique that you can do. And I love adding at least 3 colors. I think that is kind of a must, unless you're doing a monochromatic, kind of image. We could have done this in all shades of green. You could add in some dark colors. You've kind of got those options, and I'm being minimal on this side because it's pretty minimal. All right, so I could keep working on this, but let me show you what I would do next. So now that we've got this brushed in, you can do a layer mask. And this is where you can actually go back to a soft round brush. And once you've got that selected, if you wanted to, you want to stick with black. If you wanted to remove some of this anywhere, make sure you're at 100%, but you could come in and take it off. So that little area was bothering me. So just know that you can do that. Now, what you can also do is I'm going to lower the opacity of the layer that I painted. So I'm just going to bring it down. I usually like to do about 50%. You could also try different blend modes. Look, if we do multiply, how fun is that? That is color burn, which is really, really interesting. There's lighten, and soft light is beautiful. Hard light, you've got just all kinds of different options. Wow. Subtract is really, really interesting. Of course, it's got where I brushed it. So that could be really fun. It's bringing in all different colors. You would just have to get rid of where I did the brush off. And there's multiply. I think I really like multiply. I think that is doing exactly what I was wanting. So if I take it all the way up, that's 100%. And I'm just going to bring it down a little bit. So I'm going to look at this. Let me show you guys that was before we did the white, then we brought it in, and then we've applied all the layers of paint and let me go up to our blending mode, all the brushes that we added. I'm right here in the history panel, you guys. So on this layer, we did all of that. Let me turn this one off. And I think we added some painting, just a little bit right there, but most of it was right here in the image just to really enhance it. I think it's so fun. You could take it up a little bit. There's at 100%. I really think I like about that 58. And then if you wanted, you could do some other whimsical things with this image, but I'm going to clean up some spots that I see, and then I'm going to be done with this one. So I hope you enjoyed seeing how I use this fall brush to just enhance an image. You can see some of the painting strokes if you look really close, and you can continue to work on it. Just go back. Now, I did fail to tell you guys, this is part of the 2021 fall brushes. And again, this was the Vincent brush tool, and I liked it really small. And I love how it's adding these elements. I'm not seeing as much of this orange color over here, so I'm just going to kind of go back over it a little bit. So remember, you get to tweak. What I love is if you print this image, you're going to see these brush strokes, and it's actually going to look as if it's a painting. So it's really fun. I have done this on many images, and when I print it, it's so subtle, but just really makes the layers stand out in a beautiful way. So I hope you enjoy this. I hope you will try these brushes yourselves, and have a great day, everybody.